Hi everyone, we are back. It is time once again to discuss everything Top Drives in the Top Drive Show. We're doing a slightly different thing with the questions this time around. We are properly adhering to the format of the stuff that's in the terms and conditions in the description. You can go and read. You should know the rules by now, though, which is that you can go and leave your questions in the comment section. If you see a question someone else has made that you like the look of, give it a like, because we look at the most liked comments first. So yeah, what we're doing is we're going to do 3 questions, first of all, which are honourable mentions, and then we're going to be giving away 5 carbon fibre packs after those. So let's go through the honourable mention questions first. First of these comes from Plant, who asks, will the Viper GTS get the motorsport tag?
Oh.
Yes.
Yes?
That's good.
It will. I did.
Yes.
I fixed that last week, I think. But obviously needs to update. Needs the next update to come out. But yes.
Okay, grand. Fixing that then.
Yeah, it's probably worth mentioning. Actually, tags are. I mean, we like with everything in the game, we try and be as accurate and comprehensive as possible. But tags are they're the most subjective thing and the sort of stat for the cars, and there's almost the most of them.
Yeah.
So yeah, if people are spotting kind of cars that they think need a tag, then I'll always kind of welcome that feedback.
There were some hot hatches missing, right?
They're
getting theirs.
Yep, they've been done. So.
Okay, good. Next question comes from Chewbacca Buddy with the question: how do rear-wheel drive cars outperform front-wheel drive cars in off-road scenarios, even though in the real world it would be flipped? So this is quite a technical thing, which is there's a theory about off-road driving, which is that if your drive is coming through the front wheels and you're scrabbling around pulling the car along, that you gain a better traction than you would if you're with the rear wheels on the drive pushing the car along, just thanks to the fact that it reduces the amount of slide available to the wheels that are doing the drive, I assume. But do we have any understanding of what's going on in Top Drives?
We talked about this. I know a year ago I was like, what's going on here? How does it work?
Yeah, it does get, and I think the thing is that I think in the world of cars, there's definitely just a variety of contradictory theories around this. To be honest, I don't want to kind of defer this too much, but really this actually came down to Evo, the road test team at Evo making a call on, they drive an awful lot of stuff, obviously kind of mainly on road, but through all sorts of different scenarios and surfaces and things like that. And their general feeling was that kind of, well, front wheel drive off road is more predictable and kind of safer, and in a lot of scenarios it's what you'd choose. With the kind of, and this is going back a few years now, but I think the general feeling was that any sort of performance driving, if you can control it off road, and we've got a sort of perfect driver in Top Drives, the kind of weight shift is going to be putting it back. Is going to be pushing it back. Giving the rear wheels kind of slightly more sort of traction than front drive in those conditions, and that's where we feel. I mean, the difference is not big in Top Drives, but just that tiny little advantage was that they made the decision to give that to rear wheel drive.
Okay. Great. The next question we've got comes from Anej Z, who asks, can we get a filter for the all cars page so that when we open a pack we can see what cars are possible to get?
Yeah. You can filter your own cars, and then when something comes up like 2010 convertibles, and you're like, oh, what are they? And you have to go to topdrives.club, which is a brilliant fan site, and you can do it there.
Yeah.
You really should be able to do that in game. Yes.
Yeah, something perhaps that we need in our first party system.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so that's it for the honourable mention questions, and now we're going to go on to the big 5 carbon fibre questions. Before we do that though, make sure to check out our fancy social channels. We've just started Top Drives Insta, I think. Is that right? Yeah, we've started a Top Drives Instagram, so go ahead and check that out as well. Okay, it's time to move on to the group of questions that we're tentatively calling the Top Drives Top 5. This episode's questions all get a carbon fibre pack, so congratulations if you're part of the top 5. First of which is from Cezoni, getting a carbon fibre pack for asking, Will we ever get an ability to switch clubs? I think it's fair to say that Midnight's currently the strongest club, followed by Legacy, and Full Throttle's way behind. Being able to switch the club every season would only mean more unpredictability due to the outcome, and whether you win or lose essentially comes down to your own choice.
Right.
So there's a lot of moving parts in there.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, obviously, right, there's a snowball of doom waiting to happen there. Everybody goes, oh, this club's the best. I'm going to join them. And then what happens? There's just too many people in that club. So I don't think you could just allow...
I think it would always need some sort of management.
Yeah. We did talk about, we have not done this yet, but we talked about, like, transfers. Like, picking out some top players on a club and going, this club's doing too well, you guys are amazing. I don't know, give you some in-game gold or something. Yeah. We'll switch you over if you're up for it. Like, we've talked about this idea, we've not tried it. But balance, in the football style, or a bunch of other sports do it, seemed like that might be quite good. But yeah, free choice, it would just be mayhem. I guess what you could do, what is it? Pokemon Go had a thing where you can spend quite a lot of gold to switch.
Really?
So you
I missed that feature.
You have to really, really want to do it. I mean, that's much more of a social game. So I could see what you'd like. Oh wait, everybody I'm playing with and physically going to places with is on a different team. I want to join them. Whereas Top Dry is less so, and then it would become a whole efficiency thing. Like, is it worth the gold to switch to this team? Yes, it is. And then maybe a load of terrible players would switch to that team, and now that team's worse. It doesn't sound like a great feedback loop either. I think the transfers. I think that's probably the way.
Yeah.
Okay. Before we go on with the top 5, want to just give a quick shout out to G-Search, who's one of our fantastic forum mods. They're doing a thing at the moment called Wednesday Wheels, where they do a showcase on a car every week. It's on the KT Play forum, and you should definitely go and take a look at it. Mm-hmm. Next question, getting themselves a carbon fibre pack, is Duncan Cook, who asks, "Hi Top Drives team, thank you for a truly amazing game. I've got a question about upgrading cars. To be truly competitive, you need to upgrade your higher end cars, but collecting 3 ultra rares to upgrade an epic takes a long time. Honestly, it's hard sacrificing those cars. Would it be possible to have an option to use 9 rare cars to upgrade an epic? So going 1 tier down, but multiplying it by 3. Okay, so interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit like the thing we covered a long time ago, where it's like, could you turn 9 rare cars into 1 super rare and 9 super rare, or something like that, converting them up, which other games do. But we said Top Drives is probably not about that, because Top Drives, that system emphasises always getting to the better and better and best things ever. Whereas Top Drives, we want to be about breadth. We don't want you to be constantly trying to throw away everything you've got that's lower to something higher and throwing that away to get something even higher.
Yeah, I think there's genuine interest in car, actually particularly with some of the classics we put in, or kind of even from the sort of 70s and 80s, some of the cars there that ultimately, their ultimate performance is not quite, at the high end, but they're still they're great car. We want people to be collecting them and enjoying playing with them.
Yeah, and I think it's good having, at the top end, having tuning be difficult and an effort. It adds strategy to the game. If you make it that much easier, just all cars are maxed everywhere, and who cares which one you invest in, because you can just get more food for another one. Yeah. Whereas it is a big decision. I think that is important. That it is quite difficult. The only thing that is a bit odd is the sort of bottom end of the range, especially RQ27 Legendaries and RQ23 Epics. They're not as good as the others in that tier, but they cost just as much to fuse. So it's like, this feels like a waste. And like, maybe we should have some complicated system where they're a little bit easier to do or something. I don't know. Yeah. I put 2 fuses into my legendary Lotus Exige because it keeps coming up in big events, so it feels like it's worth it. But I don't know. And I'm trying to specialise in British cars, so it sort of makes sense.
I think that's the thing. I mean, even those lower cars within a tier, they still
have a place.
They still have a place. But I mean, it's a good question, because it definitely has come up multiple times in the history of Top Drives in terms of on the team about discussing that concept. And as you say, it's sort of some other games kind of have systems as described. But yeah, I think, like you say, for us at the moment, it's not on the list.
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you, Duncan. You're getting a carbon fibre pack, as is Gabriel, who asks, can we get something like folders in our garage where we put cars in? like a folder for fused material or cars that need to be upgraded.
Right.
So just more resource management tools.
Yeah.
It seems a lot of people must have a lot of cars that they need to deal with.
That's right.
It's a lot of accounting to take care of.
I do think that the quicker way to get to a lot of that functionality is better filtering, right? Which has been asked a lot recently, and is definitely very high on our list. So being able to filter just cars that have, have completed a fuse and they're ready for an upgrade, for example, you don't have to put them in a folder. We can just see which ones they are, and then cars which I guess you haven't locked and don't have any upgrades. Probably those are your food cars. If you want them to not be food, you can already lock them. So if you filter to those, that would just get you the food folder ready. I think that's probably the way, rather than you have to manually drag some things around.
Mm-hmm.
Probably, yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Gabriel. Next question, getting a carbon fibre pack, comes from Evan Young, whose question is, could there be a part of the game implemented where you can add friends to a list, chat with them, and even race against them in some sort of friendly? So one thing to mention about this is that there was a comment underneath, a reply just saying there's no synchronous play, which is true. There is no synchronous play. So it would have to be like a postal chess system, I guess. How would you do it?
Yeah, I mean, in a way, Top Drive's by its nature, sort of in its current form, is a sort of a version of a turn-based game. So it that you could there's variations on how you could get sort of friends playing against each other. I think it's difficult. I guess kind of completely agree. The social side of the game is one area that feels like it's got a huge amount of headroom to grow and develop. It's simply that they're kind of, it's a big area. There's kind of big features. There's a sort of a tech side to it that comes along as well. So it's a difficult one to answer. It's not it's no time soon. I think we're going to be able to address that, but I would say that we're aware that there's scope there.
Features that benefit or are useful to everybody in the game are just generally going to win over ones that like just people who've got friends who are also playing the game. There's definitely fewer of them. If there's something that could work for everybody that also works for the friend situation, that has more odds of making it out there.
Okay.
Yeah, no immediate plans.
Great. Okay. Thank you, Evan. Next question comes from the Lone Raptor 93.
Great name.
Getting a carbon fibre pack for asking, instead of making a brand new campaign like so many players are asking for, why not have a limited time campaign that runs from the start of an update to the end of an update? It'd feel like more of an introduction to the new event, allowing you to race against new cars from the update, and maybe even tracks if they're added, ending with everyone completing it and receiving the same boss car, so as not to make it unfair. That sounds cool.
It's definitely a nice idea. I mean, that...
so kind of like the challenge that runs for a week, but a bigger version of that.
And I guess more of an obvious introduction to the, as I say, to the new content.
Yeah, specifically the new content.
Yeah, but I guess it would feel a shame to have all that and have it just go away.
Yeah, because if you're new from one update to the next, it would change your first experience of that system. I mean, I guess that's true of any event system.
Yeah.
But if it's like the campaign, it's a slightly different deal.
I heard somebody pointing out, like, why don't we just save all of the weekly challenges and just make that a bit of campaign? We've made all these things.
Yes.
We'll just throw them away. Same sort of idea.
But there could be something. I mean, I think it's something to, that's the sort of idea. It would be good to kind of sit down with the team or kind of feed into the team and sort of just allow it to be discussed a bit, because it's. I mean, in some ways we've talked before about experimenting a bit more with the challenge mode, and actually having a bigger challenge with sort of, I don't know, more of a sort of fluctuating kind of difficulty curve and things like that that introduces a new content is something that we haven't done, but would be possible. So
because we're limited to one challenge at once, which is always hard because you've got complete new players against people who've been playing for almost 2 years. How can you have all of them catered to by just one challenge? If you could have multiple challenges, then you can get some of this. So interesting.
Add it to the discussion list.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So that is it for the questions. As we said last episode, we did that episode a bit early, so what we're going to do is go into the comment section of episode 26 and answer some extra questions that may have been asked in the meantime. Those will just go straight into the comments section, so they'll go through as replies, and if that reply says so, then you'll be also awarded with additional carbon fibre pack. So yeah, keep an eye on your YouTube notifications at the top left, or wherever they are if you're on a mobile, and yeah, maybe you're still in with a chance if you asked a month ago. Time for a little bit of in-game news. We liked watching all of you fight over the Cadillac CTS-V, and we've got another prize car to mention this time round. What's the prize car?
It's a 2016 BMW M4 GTS. So just a very, I mean, a lot of the prize cars are, but it's a kind of really quite a specialist bit of machinery, this. Obviously kind of long line of M3s and latterly M4s. From BMW, going right back. Actually, they've generally with each generation they've done a sort of super special version, so right back to the kind of M3 Sport Evolution in the early days, and then the CSL M3, which had a lovely carbon fiber roof and to lower the center of gravity. And this is the sort of from this generation. This is their hardcore, I mean, very track focused car. So full on racing seats. It's kind of stripped out. It doesn't sort of. Didn't actually lose that much weight in the process, but a bit of I mean a little bit, so it's always helpful. Roll cage, kind of just a complete comprehensive track focused tuning exercise on the M4, which is, you know, already a rapid car, and it's and it even has this slightly sort of quirky, it never kind of became a mainstream thing, but water injection system. So I saw it described in one article as a great thing. It's like the car's version of sweating, which is cool. So it can, as it's driving along, it blasts cold water into the intake system that just turns into vapor and just cools the entire combustion process down, which allows you to kind of ramp everything up and just get more power out. So I think it's about 65 brake horsepower up on the standard engine without much in the way of kind of other modifications, which is a useful boost. Does mean you have to kind of fill a water tank in your boot, which I'm assuming kind of adds a little bit weight back to the car, but not enough to make it not worthwhile. And it's, yeah, in terms of the sort of the German hierarchy, you know, it's going to be battling it out with your kind of your M5s and some of your other kind of high performance BMWs and Mercedes and Porsches. But its big talking point. There's a couple. One is that it's obviously, with it being a track focus, it's de-restricted. It doesn't have that 155 mile an hour limiter. So a nice top speed of 190 miles an hour is going to prove useful throughout a lot of top drives. And then the other big thing is the handling. So 90 handling, which is, it really kind of sets it apart. There's a big group of cars, kind of high 80s, and it really sort of sets it apart from that. So I was going to just as a quick demonstration of this. I feel like I come back to slalom a lot, but it's such a
when you've got the handling and the weight advantage.
Yeah,
that's where.
And I think if we put it up against some pretty serious competition, so 2018 BMW M5 competition, delimited, so matches it for top speed. M5 is just unbelievably fast off the line. I mean, the M4 just can't get, it's still rear wheel drive, just can't get close to that. But it's that handling. So if we run it on the slalom, you can see here that actually it's M5, you know, M5 does kind of burst off the line, but from then on it's kind of clear air to the M4, and it actually takes it quite convincingly. So anything it's kind of seriously twisty, slalom, car park, I think there's a couple of things in Tokyo, anything that really puts the kind of handling of the car under pressure. And if it's a German event, that this is very close to being top of the tree in that respect. And it's just, you know, it's an ultra, you know, I was about to say, I always do that.
Ultra rare.
Ultra rare.
So ignore that. But in the real world convention, this is a ultra rare. It's a special edition car. I think only 700 made. And it's it's rare in the real world as a prize car. It's it's going to be rare in top drives, and it's just a pretty cool car.
Nice.
All right. Well, good. So enjoy getting yourself a hold of one of those. And I suppose that's all we've got to talk about this time round.
Yeah.
But of course, you know that we'll be back again. Don't forget to check out our social channels and the Wednesday wheels that G-Search is doing on the KT Play forums. And that's it. Thanks very much for playing Top Drives. And this has been the Top Drive Show.